Welcome to part two. We're just waiting for Terry. Picture there from my 41st birthday at Ellerbeola Hotel. With a Cobra. Look at the size of me there, man. £400. Unbelievable. I went from 400 to 125. And I'm 157 this morning, so we're fighting fit. But we weren't then, but I thought I was all right. Hello, Terry.
All right, mate.
We were speaking there about Yard and Tunde. They're having it tough, aren't they? But what about Big Malk? He's gone quiet, hasn't he? Spencer Pearson, what's happened to him now? Was he a football agent or something?
You can't just be a football agent, can you? Don't you have to put like 100 grand down with the FA?
Well, he's on channels going on about these players that he's signing and how they're flying him out to Saudi and all this and blah de blah. I don't know if it will waffle.
It feels that way.
Well, it looks like
Um,
not, he didn't. He didn't. He's not been at them Warren shows, has he? Recently, and he normally is, isn't he? I don't know what's going on there.
Maybe he was talking crazy about Dubois. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. He was saying Don Charles was trainer at you though. Yesterday.
See, well, he's trying to walk it back, but Don will not like. Don doesn't forget, and he might not forgive this time. Um, he was hurt by what Spencer did because it was disruptive to what was going on.
Yeah.
And the thing with how can I put it? There are a lot of things in boxing that are what I call legacy relationships. Like Russ, you and I we speak regularly, right?
Yeah.
So like if you need something from me, it's all right, cool, let's do it. And
Yeah.
hopefully vice versa. And so that's not us having done business 10 years ago and then you asking me for something. Whereas
I've known you about 10 years now, haven't I?
yeah, but 90, yeah, it's close, mate.
Yeah.
It's close.
I started with Dennis in 15 April. No,
Yeah, so it would have been the year after that.
yeah, so now I've known you nearly 9 years then, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So what Spencer tries to do is lean on that kind of legacy relationship to go, I've known this guy for X number of years. He never tells you how recent the relationship is,
Hmm.
right? And fans don't really care. They just assume he knows everyone, right? And so when he was talking about Don Charles and Daniel Dubois' old man and stuff, he was talking so far out of turn that you don't come back from that. And then Frank's like, this guy's an idiot and he's messing the money up here. And then you just get exiled until you serve your sentence.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? So basically, Spencer's like he's a romancer, isn't he? Basically, he's only got to meet somebody once, and he's a very dear friend of mine.
Yeah, best friends. Remember, he was best friends with the Smith family. All the sort of stuff that came
Brock,
out, and
we were best friends with Brock in changing room after the Butte fight. He was there for trending photos with his Sky badge on his waistcoat and all that. Froch can't stand him now, and vice versa.
but this is what happens in boxing. Everyone's trying to use everyone, and then when other people are getting money and you're not, you're a problem.
Yeah.
And I think deep down, people suspect that the Anthony Yard situation was driven by Spencer.
Well, he were very vocal about the contract situation, and obviously he's turned his chum, isn't
Yeah, one of those he should have just kept to himself.
he? Yeah. I've got experience. I've been a manager, a promoter, a fighter, a trainer, all that nonsense.
No, and that's cool. But here's the thing, right? Because Spencer's worked with guys that I used to train in the amateurs.
Hmm.
And they say, look, the guy's got a great address book, but he does nothing with it. There's nothing he's ever done. He can't get you signed. He can't get you this. He can't get you sponsorship. There's nothing he can really do. Do you know what I mean? But like remember when we had that kind of luxury watch boom in like 2022, that
Yeah.
was where Spencer was useful. Like he helped people shift watches because he knew enough people that, like, I know Bell, you bought a couple of Rolexes off a friend of mine through Spencer. So he has some value somewhere, I guess.
Hmm. Okay, so basically he's just a middleman, is he? Big Malk.
Well, he's a middleman who's not quite in the middle.
Well, he's not now, is he? Now he's not at Sky.
Yeah.
Eating off my plate now.
And we know how you got the name Porky because you don't share.
Yeah, because I don't share. Look at the size of me on there. Big as an house then, wasn't I?
Mate, and I heard you're doing 5K in about 25 minutes in that shape.
Not 25 minutes off. In that shape there, I won't be able to even dream about walking or running 5K. I could do it no, I'm about 50 minutes for something like that for that. About 4.4 mile. 4.4 mile, 50 minutes. I think that's best I've done. And that nearly kills me. Getting old, Terry. Fabio Wardley and it's Big Freeze. It looks like that's not going to happen, doesn't it now, that rematch?
What rematch?
Fabio Wardley and it's Big Freeze.
Well, they fought twice. And
Oh,
why
sorry,
would they
sorry, the third one. The third one's not going to happen, sorry.
Oh,
So,
why would it? No, after the second one, I don't want to see the third.
yeah, but they're saying he caught him cold, aren't they, his fans in comment section?
You can't catch a jaw cold and break it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, when people get knocked out in round one, what do they always say? I got caught cold.
I didn't get you got hit with a hell of a shot. That's what
Terry,
boxing is
speaking
about.
to you, Mike, mate.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, look, it's about just getting caught, right? You got caught with a good shot. That's what boxing is, right? Hit someone with your best shot, and that's what happened.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Where do you see it's Big Freeze going now then?
That's a really good question. Do you put him in with Johnny Fisher?
Well, if he got beat, it'd be game set a match, wouldn't it? He's going to have to be brought back steadily, isn't he now?
Yeah, in his position, I just let that jaw heal up properly because I think he rushed back to the rematch.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought both of them did, to be honest, because that first fight took a lot out of them physically,
yeah, it
and
did.
it's like, yeah, you know,
Who
because
did you
people
have
forget the
winning
camp.
first one, Terry? Who did you have winning it?
Oh, probably Fabio because Fabio dropped him.
Yeah.
Because if a fight's really close, it's very hard to give it to the other guy if he got dropped.
Hmm. Okay. Jonathan's he sends 10 in a day, Jonathan. Jonathan said, "Can you ask Terry if Anthony Joshua can't pull the trigger no more, and that's why he doesn't want the Dubai rematch? Because why else would you put a rematch clause into a fight and then not activate it when you're offered it?"
Oof. Okay. Wow. So if we look at Joshua, him and Dubois was always personal, and that goes back to GB and probably pre-GB when everyone knew Dubois was the next one, right? It had been Anthony Joshua, then it was Joe Joyce, and then it was Dubois, and then you kind of felt with Joshua's probably got Joyce's number, but with Dubois, like the general talk was, I think AJ would struggle now if he fought Dubois. And every time I spoke to his dad would always tell me Daniel will fight Anthony Joshua anytime, any place, and he's confident he'll beat him. So those two, it's always been personal. So when you get knocked out like that, it hurts because you trained like this was personal. Right? So there's no question that the camp was good. Everything about that camp, we were being told, was perfect. Had all the sparring in the world, had some real good talent in there. You know what I mean? I know because like I saw some of the clips, like there was some really good talent in there. And so to get iced like that, and Joshua's worst nightmare was being one of those guys that ends up being a meme. And that's what's happened to him. Like he got put on a poster when he didn't want to be. You know, he did it to Vlad and it got done to him. And that's really kind of shredded his confidence. He doesn't want the rematch because I think deep down he knows Dubois can do that again. And so he doesn't want that rematch. Now, whether he's gone gun shy, I don't think it's gun shy. I think sometimes you can overthink boxing.
Do
And
you
a
think
lot
he's
of people,
an overthinker, Terry?
pardon?
Is he an overthinker?
I think he's a guy that tries to treat it like an equation. Like everything has to balance at the end of it. Like I've got to be able to attack, but I want to manage my risk. I want to do this, and then he ties himself up in these mental knots. Would be my take on what's held him back. And there are loads of boxers like this. Like my mate Dom Akinladi was like that. Dom when Dom didn't think about anything, or when Dom was angry, he was he was hard to beat. But when Dom was expected to win, he very rarely did because he started to overthink and he started to try and be too scientific. And I think Joshua tries to be too scientific when he boxes. Instead of being AJ, the McCracken version of AJ, who was just seek and destroy. You know, if I get put down, cool. Eventually, I'm going to get to you. I don't know if you'll ever get that back.
Don't you?
Nah, not at this age. Like not at this age. Not with the money he's accumulated. Not with the fame. I just don't think he. It's not worth the risk. I still, I still wouldn't be surprised if he never boxes again.
Won't you?
No.
Do you think Joshua's at fault then if he don't take this? Because he's the one employing everybody, isn't he, really?
Um, we've never treated him with the respect he deserves for being the guy that pays everybody. So if he walked away from the sport, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be surprised. I think his head's elsewhere anyway. Would be my assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his head's elsewhere now. I think he's done everything he was ever going to do in boxing. He knows based on where the belts are right now, he can't beat the guys who have the belts, and he can't beat the guys who are likely to get the belts, and he knows that.
Yeah. Do you think he might just walk away now?
50-50.
That's interesting, that, because Eddie's not coming out explaining what's happening and all this, is it? It's all silence, isn't it?
I just know he's in Nigeria right now, and what he's saying over there is I don't know. When they ask him if he's going to fight again, he's saying I don't know.
Mm.
Because remember, he's not training right now.
Yeah. And he doesn't need the dough, does he?
Nah, no chance.
So if he don't fight Fury next, he's basically that's it. Because if you put him in with any top 25, he could get beat, couldn't he?
He's only got two options now. He fights Fury or he fights Wilder. They're his in-ring options for me.
Well, Joshua's only fought one guy. No, out of his era, who would you say he's fought? He's fought Usyk, can he? And
Yeah,
and Dubois. Dubois not really his era, but he's lost to them. And it Ruiz is from his era. He lost to him, but rematched him and won in a stinker. But he hasn't really got any great wins on his record, has he? Vladimir were nearly 42. And Fury hasn't really got any generational great wins on his record because Vladimir won his era and Usyk's beat him, hasn't he? He got Wilder. Wilder's got Wilder wins on his record. Fury, two Wilder wins. That's it, isn't it? Have they
yeah.
been a letdown, these two, for all the hype we've had of them and the money that they've had out of the job? Have they been a letdown?
Yes and no. Yes, from a what we thought they'd achieve perspective, but in terms of them bringing money back to British boxing, nah, they revived British boxing. That tension between AJ and Fury revived British boxing when it was on shaky ground. So they'll always have respect for rebuilding it. A bit like Eubank and Ben did in the 90s when they rebuilt British boxing. These guys have done that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Joshua's basically put boxing back on map, boxing back on the map, hasn't he, basically, in the UK. He has been responsible for that, Joshua, hasn't he?
Exactly. Um, he's a large part of the reason we're doing this now.
Well, I've seen a report this morning that Eddie's had 60 million out at job with Joshua, just alone off Joshua, 60 million. So he's done well out of Joshua, hasn't he, Eddie? That's net as well, by the way. Net.
But Joshua's also done well out of Eddie. Do you know what I mean? Like they've worked together. I think that's been a really good team. Do you know what I mean? Like I know we criticize Hearn as a promoter, and there's loads of stuff you can criticize Hearn for in boxing. But he's laying his reputation, his metaphorical life on the line for AJ every time. Like he's been AJ's biggest cheerleader, he's been AJ's biggest fan. Um, you almost imagine if you gave him a bottle of baby oil, all he'd want to do is rub it on AJ.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to wonder. what's happening with Joshua because they have rematch. They have a rematch clause, and once they didn't activate that rematch clause, my porky sense, like the spider sense, well, my porky sense were tingling. I thought he's lost his bollocks. A rematch for millions and millions, and you're not taking it. What is all that about?
I don't know. I wouldn't take that. I knew as soon as I, I just said if Joshua loses to Dubois, he'll never rematch him. Because you got to know how hard Daniel hits. But and Joshua's almost like I've already done my hard yards. Like why am I doing the hard yards at 35, however old he is now? And that would be my argument. Jump in there with guys who are your age, who are just as fragile as you are. Like Dubois is not, man. He's solid. Hasn't had many injuries. Still got power. Still got speed. Oh, forget that.
Yeah, yeah. Where's Usyk go from here, Terry? Now,
Just retire, man. Like he's hit that Canelo phase or that Terence Crawford phase of I don't want anyone talking about title defenses or anything. I just want him in like fantasy matchups now. If he's gonna fight Beterbiev at Cruiser, cool, do that. If he's gonna, I don't even know, let him jump in with Pereira or someone. Let him go and fight Ngannou. Those sorts of things. I don't mind Usyk doing that now because he's kind of done his job in boxing. Go off and do whatever's fun, man. Let us see that part of you.
yeah, yeah. It's
Because there'll be boxing fans that just want to flog him. Oh man, I want you to fight this killer. I want you to fight that killer. I want you to fight that killer until you lose. And that mentality has always baffled me.
has it.
Yeah, just the guy's done everything he could. Go and let him have some fun in a sport that he loves.
Yeah, yeah. It's Usyk don't really need to prove anything now. I mean, he's run through with helmet, with headgear off. Joe Joyce, Chisora, Bellew, Dubois, and the big two, Joshua and Fury, twice apiece. That's 8 wins over Brits. You know what I mean? No messing.
Chisora,
Eh?
yeah, you put Chisora in there.
Chisora, Joe Joyce in WBSS with no headgear. Joyce, Chisora. Joyce will have a 5 rounds on it. Chisora, Bellew, uh, Dubois, and then you've got two losses apiece for Joshua and Fury. That's 8 wins. He's basically took out the British heavyweight division, hasn't he?
Who else did that? Remember, was it Linares who just came and just smashed up Brits?
Golovkin smashed everybody up, didn't he, from UK and Canelo, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah, like a it became their personal bank account.
Yeah, they all got flogged, didn't they? All Brits were fed, weren't they, to him, weren't they? And they're on about putting Dubois in with him as well. And what they're going to do? Keep doing this until he's about 70.
But that's what people want. That you just keep flogging your assets until there's nothing left. But I just sometimes just go and have some fun. Like I don't like Crawford. I feel the same way about Crawford. Just go and have some fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's uh it's craziness. But as boxing fans, we can't really knock Usyk, Terry, can we, for what he's achieved? I know he's been a brick bashing, but they can't really knock him, can they? And they just made a stern of stuff, people like Usyk and Golovkin, aren't they, when they come up against our lot?
They just come out of a really good system. They
Yeah.
came out. They came out of a system that understood that success starts in childhood. You can't manufacture success, and that's why what they do, they're able to do over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times has Usyk had to postpone a fight because of injury?
Not many.
I don't remember him doing so.
Yeah. Well, he's always on the ball, isn't it? Oh, Gary's just sent me completion. Andy's had his 100 quid for winning competition. Andy should have been on tonight. He's not on. He's probably out spending it.
Mate, nothing you can buy in this country for 100 quid.
He's in Inverness, isn't he? He'll be all right. He'll find a bar, won't he?
Yeah.
It is what it is. Caballel, Terry, what's your opinion on him? And is he being swerved like Martin McCullough, the best heavyweight in the world, according to Little Billy?
um, yes and no. So he's not great to watch, is he? You see what I mean? Like he's quite messy to watch, but he's effective, and you got to give someone their due. Like he's effective, but he's kind of fought that kind of second or third tier of guys like Frank Sanchez, hasn't he? So we need to see him kind of step up. You want to see him in with like a Joe Joyce, I think, and then that will give us a good view. But we're getting the is it February? He's got Zhile Zhang, and if he beats Zhile Zhang, then we talk about him being in the mix.
Yeah, it is what it is. Would you like to see Bacoli against Fabio Wardley?
Ooh, no, no, I don't think that's the right fight for Fabio. Maybe a Caballero fight would be good for Fabio, but Cody's at that point now where you want to whack him in with someone like Dillian because we need to see what both guys have, and let's get that out of the way. And then if he deals with Dillian, then you're just looking upwards and saying who's left at that top table that he can fight now. I have a feeling by the time he gets to that top table, it'll be empty.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
honest.
Yeah, yeah. We should have had Bacoli in the mix from about a year ago.
You think he's
And
missed boat now, Bacoli?
in terms of making the big money, yeah. Unless he gets in with Dubois.
Yeah.
And I think that's a hard night for Daniel.
Or against Bacoli?
Yeah, I think it's a super hard night.
Well, Michael Hunter beat Bacoli though, didn't he?
Yes, but Hunter's got more tricks to his bow. Now, and I've been saying this for a while, I think there's an advantage in being a smaller heavyweight right now. I think smaller heavyweights are having an easier time of it than the bigger heavyweights. And I can't even tell you why. Is it activity? Is it that they punch up and the big guy punches down? I can't answer that. But the smaller guys seem to have a better time of it. And I worry that at 6'5", Daniel might be a bit too tall for someone like Bacoli because Bacoli's punches will find a target.
Well, he obviously done Yoker, didn't he? And done is it Anderson? He done him, didn't he?
Ah, mate, he destroyed Anderson.
Yeah, he did. It's you like Bacoli though, don't you, Terry?
Mate, remember I told you the story when I watched him box my mate Dominic, and I watched him for the first 30 seconds of that first round, and I was like, "Ah, this is gonna be easy for Dominic." And he just started moving through these gears, Russ. He went from just throwing jabs to throwing 1-2s. Then he started throwing combinations, and it just kept getting faster and faster. And I could see Dominic couldn't understand what he was getting hit by, and the ref just stopped it. And I went, "Oh, this guy's different." I just remember thinking, I was like, no, this guy's different. It was something you don't really see. Like a genuine 6'6" big lump of a man, combination punching without loading up. Just pure relaxation in his shots. And just breaking you down.
Okay. Last 10 minutes, thanks. I've got who have we got on James next? No, Jerry, then James. Lawrence Okoli. He's on a bit of a roll at the moment. What about him and Dylan White, Terry? Do you reckon that's a good fight?
No. Or maybe actually, no. Let me take that back. Yeah, let's say it is because Lawrence kind of new to heavyweight, isn't he?
And Dylan's like a gatekeeper, basically, now, isn't he? What he's done in
Yeah.
a few years, a gatekeeper, isn't he?
And those two have like real needle from what happened at Miguel's. So let's see them go at it. I think Lawrence would stop him. So maybe that fight won't happen. But yeah, I'd watch that. Like if you watch it on like a Sky pay-per-view or something. Although I think by the time these fights happen, everything's just going to be on the zone anyway. I don't see there being any mainline broadcasters doing boxing. Once we get to the summit, it's just all going to be the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that. Uh, do you know what? You know what bothers me with this heavyweight division? The belt's not going to get scattered. I know people are saying we need one champion and that, but it just holds it up, doesn't it, Terry? At the moment, you think?
Man, I find it annoying. I really, I want those belts. Just let the belts scatter. Let people fight for the belts until we find 3 or 4 guys that we think are top tier. And then we might think about unifications again. But I don't really want to get to undisputed ever again. It it's not the thing we thought it was. Like we assume that, oh, there's gonna be this undisputed, and then, we have one face for the division. It's like, well, it's just oversaturated. Canelo's been undisputed, Crawford's been undisputed, Charlo's been undisputed, Inue's been undisputed, Josh Taylor's been there are a lot of guys who have been undisputed now. And it just devalues the concept.
Yeah, yeah. It's craziness, isn't it? I just think that they should just free them up. I mean, they freed IBF up. Why don't they free WBO up and let the next generation go from, and then we can build that generation up and have one champion, can't we?
That's what we want. We just want activity. We want title fights more often. Like this Fury Usyk thing's gone on for what, a year and a half?
Yeah.
And all we got out of that year and a half are 2 fights.
Yeah, do you know what though? When you look at Fury's CV, he's hardly been forthcoming with fans, has he really? When I look at it here, it's like one fight every 10 months, isn't it? 11 months. For donkey's years, for at least last decade.
Yeah.
And he's not fought anybody really of note, has he, other than Wilder?
Yeah.
Garner, Wallin, and all people like that. And, I know I mean, he's not beat anybody a note, has he? I know he fought Usyk, but he got bladdered twice against Usyk, didn't he?
Yeah, he lost comfortably twice. Um, yeah, that's the way you can describe it. He lost comfortably twice. He's not what we were promised. So let's move on.
When I look at his CV, right, you can make a case for a disqualification against John McDermott. The Otto Walling case, you can make a case for it being stopped. The Wilder first one, you could make a case for a Wilder win and not a draw. John McDermott, on Garno you can make a case for. Throw in the Usyk 2 losses. That's like he could easily have he could be 7 losses on his record, couldn't he? He's rode his luck, hasn't he? He didn't fight Vladimir in 2012. Luis Ortiz, he's been manoeuvred, hasn't he? And he's pulled out of fights left, right, and centre. But what all this while running around with an hat on, screaming "goat" to everybody on IFL, and everybody bought into it. Everybody's scared to death of these people, these pressers. They feel like nobody can ask them anything in case the dad starts growling. They let his dog collar off. And I personally think that in end, I think people got sick of them, and I think Turkey got sick of them out there and all judges. That's what I think. I might have it wrong, but they didn't cover themselves in glory attacking one of Usyk's team, did he? The big father, big John Fury, big fighting man. 10 year out at Nick, not had a fight. Well, he's 10 year out of jail, not had a fight yet. All he's done is get out of Asif Valley a slap and Usyk's cornerman or whatever, some young kid who never even budged, did he? That's it. That's the John Fury story. 100-0 on the hard road. 100 by way of the lives weren't worth living, and one of the 100 were the Irish champion, and that were for 100 grand. He must have had the word 100 in his head all day that day.
But I think you could do that for a lot of people's careers, right? You could easily. Ben should have been stopped against McClellan. Frott should have been stopped against Groves. There are loads of things you can pick up on. I just think Fury's issue is when he was coming through, he was probably too young for Vladimir at his best, and probably too young for David at his best. And then when he hit his best, there wasn't really anyone around him apart from probably Wilder. But then he had that wilderness period, and that's when he probably should have fought Wilder. So I wonder, actually, was it losing the IBF that pushed him over the edge? Is that what ruined heavyweight boxing? If the IBF had said, okay, now that you got all the belts, we'll let you recover, and then you got to fight someone. I wonder if that would have changed the course of boxing history.
Well, we're soon going to get to find out, aren't we? But like I said, I look at his CV, Fury's CV, the champions beaten. Steve Cunningham, an old man, cruiserweight, old guy. Life and death, should have been disqualified in that fight. Vladimir, in his 40th year, 39 and 8 months, in his 40th year. Hatman said he was 38. No, he was 4 months off his 40th, Hatman. Sorry to correct you. Vladimir, in his 68th fight, an old man in a stinker. And then Wilder twice. That's it. All the rest of it's just been a load of crap. What he's fought. Del Boy, Chisora. Why did we need a trilogy with Chisora? First two were beatdowns.
Okay, so by that logic, why are we praising Usyk then?
Why are we what?
Why are we praising Usyk?
We're praising him because we were told off him. Off him and everybody else how great Fury was, and Simon Jordan, how he's this guy that's a master of defence. He's been on the floor 8 times. How is he? And why has Jeff Powell got him in his top 25 heavyweights of all time defensive geniuses? In the Daily Mail last week. He's been down 8 times. How is he a defensive genius, Jeff? That don't make him Mayweather. People don't know the sport and they go on about rubbish. And I pick up on that and it gives me an ulcer. You know. Am I harsh there? We're harsh there, Terry.
I just don't think if we keep criticizing this generation of heavyweights, we can't give Usyk credit. That's the problem. So if we say Chisora was never any good, if we say Fury was never any good, if we say Joshua was never any good, then really Usyk didn't beat anyone. Therefore, is Usyk really any good?
Well, he's got 10. Listen, Usyk's got 10 wins over champions in 23 fights. Fury and Joshua have got 10, and half of them are regular champions. Povetkin, Pulev's in them. They've got 10 in 69 fights. So Usyk, he's like. He's wanted to take on challenges earlier in his career, and they're just padding the records out, aren't they, really, when you look at it?
But none of you, that's avoiding the question. So are these guys any good or they're not any good? That's the real question.
Well, I think Usyk's any good and can hang in any era, don't you?
No. Wait. If we're going off records, are the guys like Fury, Joshua any good?
No, I don't think they are. I think they're just world-level guys. In any other era, they'd just be top 10 guys like a Joe Bugner and Ron Lyle. You know, them sort of types. You know, Jerry Quad.
Okay.
Is that harsh?
No, it's not harsh. But then that's what Usyk beat. And this is a problem. Like, you can't give Usyk credit without giving them credit.
Where you're coming from, yeah. Yeah.
And before anyone jumps down my throat, I'm not making an opinion here. I'm just saying that there's a logical thing that says if they're no good, then Usyk didn't beat anyone good.
Yeah.
And that's the real challenge. So at some point, we have to give these guys credit and say they were good for their era. Therefore, Usyk beat the best he could in this era. There's no one else he could have beaten. You know, we can speculate what he would have done in the 70s or the 80s, and people will do that. But he's just, you know, he's probably an okay guy who beat guys who are not quite okay. But he beat people with no ring IQ. That's one thing we can all agree upon. He beat guys with no ring IQ. And I think that's what this kind of Fury era has taught us. Fury has like no ring IQ.
Well, we're told he has. We're told he's this guy that can fight 7 different styles and he can adapt to any situation and he's a go-to defensive genius. I'm like, what? Been down 8 times. Get a grip. You know what I mean? I'm baffled by it. Absolutely baffled by it. I mean, would Fury even beat Larry Holmes? Would he beat Larry Holmes, Fury?
No chance.
Would he beat Joe Frazier, Mike Tyson?
No chance. Maybe because of his height and his weight, but really, That's the only thing he has in terms of
What's
work
Lennox
rate.
Lewis have done to Fury?
Stopped him.
Stopped him, wouldn't it? I mean, everybody kept going on about when Lennox were fighting. Who was that guy Lennox fought and he struggled? Oh, Shannon Briggs. He struggled with him early doors, didn't he? But he stayed cool, didn't he?
Yeah, then he got him. And don't forget how tough Shannon Briggs is.
Oh, very tough. Very. Teddy Atlas trained him, didn't he?
Well, Shannon Briggs.
Teddy Atlas trained him at
Yeah.
one point, didn't he? So it is what it is. I think that's about it, really. Terry, hope you're well. What you got planned now? You going to gym, aren't you?
I'm gonna go later. Yeah, let's see if there's any. I think Arsenal are playing now, so I'm gonna go watch the Arsenal game, and then I'm gonna go to the gym. You know me, Russ. I'm gonna do my 4 reps, walk around the gym, try and nick other people's clients, and then do another 4 reps and go home.
You won't be like me this morning doing a Lee Priest back workout, pop, pop, bang. That Lee Priest's a freak, isn't he? Somebody's training with James, a good lad. He's a freaky looking guy, isn't he?
He's only 5'4".
And I've seen him as about 20 odd clem.
Yeah, like
Big lump.
genetics. Just some people, some people are just born, and he was just born to lift. And yeah, it's annoying because you and I could train 20 lifetimes and never look like him.
I know. Oh yeah, tell me, I don't want to look like Lee Priest actually, but I'm happy at the moment. I'm 157 I was this morning. I always get weighed beginning at year 157, and I've had my tea and everything. I'm still only 158 and a half now, so I'm happy. But I'm happy how my training's going. It's nice to be fit. It's nice to be able to run properly, isn't it? You
Yeah,
can't run if you're big like Lee Priest, can you?
that's what I tell people all the time. When I see, I'm one of these people. When I see these big bodybuilders out and about and they start throwing their weight around, in your head you're like, there's no way you can fight being that big. Like, you just can't be mobile. Do you know what I mean?
Unless they get on it and shake you like a leaf.
But then they'll cramp up after 30 seconds. So you're like, okay, stay calm for 30 seconds, then start putting the pressure on them.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Well, we're not all like you, Terry, with big fists.
Well, listen, mate, you got your magical leather jacket, mate, and the cap. You know what I mean? Once they come on, Super Pork is unleashed.
Super pork. Go on, get yourself off, mate. Listen, you have a great evening.
You too, man. Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year to
Happy
everyone
New Year
listening
to
to this
all
as well.
followers as well. Cheers, Terry.
All right, take care, mate. Bye.
Bye. All that with Terry. Women watch him, men fear him. That's about it. I want to thank everybody for liking and subscribing, leaving a comment and sharing the videos. Go on, pop, pop, bang. Go on, peace out. We've got Jerry on now. Booyaka with his Magnum Tash and his mullet. Booyaka.